My sister's daughter said loudly at dinner. She's only here because she pays for everything. Her mom laughed. No one defended me. I quietly excused myself and left. 2 days later, I did something that made them call me non-stop, and then, I shouldn't have gone to that dinner. I knew that before I even got there. But guilt works fast when it's a family affair, and Hannah knows exactly how to use it. She said it was just a casual thing, no pressure, cousin Mark was in town, blah blah blah. What she meant was, come over, buy everyone dinner and spend another night as a walking wallet. I showed up, as usual. Quiet, on time, with a bottle of wine under my arm and a credit card they used more for emergencies than my own. There's this fake politeness we always start with, laughing a little too loud, hugging for a second too long, pretending we all like each other. It never lasts long. We lasted maybe 20 minutes after appetizers before the real family dynamic kicked in. Ava, my sister's daughter, 19, spoiled, just like her mother, looked up from her plate and let it drop, as if it were just another thought in her head. She's only here because she pays for everything. That was it. Right in front of everyone. Her mom laughed. And not awkwardly. The laugh was real. No one said anything. Not my mom. Not my other sister. Not even any hey, that's not fair from the peanut cousin gallery. I just sat there. Like an idiot. I didn't defend myself. I didn't argue. I just apologized. To no one in particular. Then I got up and left. No one stopped me. No one followed me. No texts. No calls. But for 2 days, their phones wouldn't stop ringing. And that's when everything started to unravel. The first call came from Hannah. I didn't answer. Then Ava tried. Then our mom. Then a string of texts from a couple cousins who hadn't reached out in months suddenly wanted to check in. I didn't respond to any of it. What I had done was simple. I called the school's financial aid office, told them to remove my name as the financial guarantor on Ava's tuition, and withdrew the remaining funds I had set aside for her. The account was in my name. She never knew that. Neither did Hannah. I had set it up because I actually believed in Ava. I thought maybe if she had a shot, a real one, she could grow out of the smugness she inherited. But sitting at that dinner, hearing what she said, watching Hannah laugh like it was some big joke, nah, that was it. The funny thing about money is no one notices it while it's flowing. You're just the background, the safety net, the just in case. But take it away, and suddenly you're the villain. By day 3, Hannah had left 4 voicemails. The first 2 were confused. The third was angry. The fourth was practically shaking, asking how I could do this to her daughter. Ava sent me a one-liner, seriously. That's all. No explanation. No apology. No acknowledgement. Then Mom finally called and left a message that started with, "Look, I know it wasn't the nicest thing Ava said, but was it really worth blowing up her whole future?" That sentence told me everything I needed to know. They still thought I was bluffing. That if they just pushed hard enough, I'd cave. That's how it always worked before. Not this time. This time I had already transferred every dollar out of the education fund. This time there were no backup plans. And they were about to find out exactly how much of their stability had been built on me quietly holding things up. By the end of that week, Hannah was sending emails. Actual emails. Subject lines like, "Please let's talk," and "You're being unfair." She tried every angle. Guilt, nostalgia, even pretending like nothing had happened. My favorite line was, "We've always supported each other." Right. I didn't reply. I just watched. It didn't take long for Ava's school to start asking questions. She lost her housing assignment first. Then her class schedule disappeared from the portal. Turns out when the tuition isn't paid, the system doesn't wait around for an apology. I hadn't just pulled future payments. I had pulled this semester's too. The whole thing was gone. And without my backing, their payment plan collapsed. I heard from one of my cousins that Hannah tried calling the school pretending to be me. She gave up halfway through the call when they asked her to verify the last 4 digits of the account. Amateur move. That same cousin let it slip that Ava had moved back home. And apparently, that was going just as well as you'd expect. A moody 19-year-old with no classes, no dorm, and a whole lot of entitlement packed into a childhood bedroom. Ava posted something on Instagram that made me laugh out loud. A black and white selfie with the caption, "Some people only love you when you're useful." I wanted to comment, exactly, but I didn't. I didn't need to say a word. They were finally living in the world they built, one where I didn't exist as the safety net. And the best part, they still thought this was fixable. Like there was a magic phrase they could say to get the money back. They had no idea how far I'd gone already. A week later, our mom showed up at my place uninvited. She knocked like she was there to drop off cookies, holding a bag from some bakery I'd never heard of. I didn't let her in. Just stood in the doorway while she gave this long speech about forgiveness and second chances. She said Ava was young. She said Hannah was just stressed. She even said, family doesn't always get it right, but we don't cut each other off. I reminded her that when I left that dinner, no one said a thing. She blinked a few times like that hadn't registered until now. Then she tried this line, I'll never forget it. You know Ava's college plans were all tied to you. If you pull out now, that affects her whole future. I said, yeah, I know. She just stared at me. Then she asked, so that's it? I said, that's it. She left without another word. After that, things got quiet. Too quiet. Which made me suspicious. That's when a friend of mine who works in private finance sent me a screenshot. Turns out Hannah had tried to open a student loan in her own name, and mine. She'd used my social without asking. She must have dug it up from the paperwork I left at her place years ago. What she didn't know was I had alerts set up on everything. So I called the bank, flagged it for fraud, shut it down, and filed a report. Nothing dramatic. No phone call to Hannah. No lecture. Just paperwork and silence. Then I sat back and waited. I knew another storm was coming. You don't try to forge someone's info unless you're desperate. And they were. Desperate and finally realizing that maybe this wasn't a phase. Maybe I meant it. It took less than 48 hours after the fraud report for the panic to start. First came the voicemail from Hannah, voice shaking, saying there had been some confusion with the bank and she needed to clarify a few things. Then came the text from our mom, asking if there was maybe a misunderstanding I could clear up, as if someone else had typed Hannah's name and my social into a loan application by accident. Nope. Still, I stayed quiet. I wasn't going to play cleanup for a mess I didn't make. Let them sit in it for a while. Then Ava emailed me. Not texted. Emailed. That alone told me she was coached. The message was long, full of fake humility. She called me Rebecca instead of Aunt Becca. Said she was really sorry about how dinner went and that jokes can hurt in ways we don't realize. Then she slid in a line about how she's looking into community college now and how hard it's been. I didn't reply. 3 days later, Hannah showed up outside my building. Not knocking, just sitting in her car. I saw her through the window and waited. After 15 minutes, she drove off. An hour later, another email from Ava came through, this one less apologetic. She said I was letting one comment destroy an entire relationship, and that I was being unreasonable. That was the shift. The moment they realized this wasn't going away. I wasn't mad anymore. I wasn't hurt. I was just done. And I think that's what scared them the most. Because they always counted on me eventually coming around. That's how it always worked. Someone would say something out of line, and I'd pull back for a while, and then I'd show up with groceries or gas money or tuition or whatever else they needed, because that's what family does. Not this time. This time I was teaching them something new. That being related to someone doesn't entitle you to a damn thing. The last attempt came from my mom. She left a message saying she was organizing a family meeting at her house on Sunday. Said it was important that I come so we could all move forward. I didn't respond. She followed up with a text that said, asterisk please. Just show up. Listen. No decisions, no drama. Asterisk. I already knew what it would be. A staged intervention with everyone sitting in a circle pretending they didn't say what they said or do what they did. Maybe they'd even light a candle and talk about healing. But I wasn't interested in being the scapegoat one more time while they all played victim. Sunday came. I went for a walk. Later that night, I got a text from a cousin who was there. She wrote, it was weird. Ava cried. Hannah blamed the school. Your mom tried to say you've been too sensitive lately. Then everyone started fighting about stuff from like 10 years ago. You didn't miss anything. I didn't even reply. That was months ago. Since then, Ava's back home full-time. She picked up a part-time job at a bakery downtown. Hannah's been complaining to anyone who'll listen about how expensive things are and how people in this family forget where they came from. Mom still sends me birthday cards with underlines beneath the word family. But I sleep better. And I've started putting money aside for someone who actually appreciates it. My best friend's daughter wants to go into nursing, and she's the kind of kid who says thank you before you finish handing her something. I haven't told them yet, but I'm covering her first year. Quietly. No big announcement. Just the way I used to, except this time, for someone who sees it for what it is. They all still think I'm being dramatic, petty, cruel, even. But I'm not. I'm just done. With the dinners. The guilt. The unspoken rule that I'm supposed to keep showing up and paying up just because we share blood. People like to say, but they're family. Yeah, that's exactly what they are. Asterisk, family. Asterisk quotation marks and all.